तेरा सहारा गुरु पीर पाल जी तेरा सहारा तेरी जुदाई नित सतावे नाम बिना मैनू चैन न आवे तेरी जुदाई नित सतावे नाम बिना मैनू चैन न आवे तेरे नाम जप चलिया तुम्हारा गुरु गिरवान जी तेरा सहारा गुरु गिरवान जी तेरा सहारा हरदम तेरी मैं याद मनावा तेरे बिना मूल को दीना पावा हरदम तेरी मैं याद मनावा तेरे बिना मूल कोटि न पावा तेरी दया मेरे दीन दयारा गुरु गिरवान जी तेरा सहारा गुरु गिरवान जी तेरा सहारा ताने मेरे चले सारे तेरे बिना दुख कौन निवारे ताने चले सारे तेरे बिना कौन निवारे मेरे करीब मेरे सचिया हो यारा गुरु गिरवान जी तेरा सहारा गुरु गिरवान जी तेरा सहारा रल मिल याद मनो दिया सैया नाम तेरे दिया तुम प्रिया रल मिल याद मनो दिया सैया नाम तेरे दिया तुम प्रिया तू अपरंपार अपार गुरु गिरवान जी तेरा सहारा गुरु गिरवान जी तेरा सहारा दास अजाय याद मनावे हरदम नाम गुरु गावे दास अजाय याद मनावे हरदम नाम गुरु गावे ते भक्ति नाम अटूट
O Guru Kripal, we have your support. Separation from you troubles me daily. Without Nam, I have no comfort. Your Nam rains down everywhere. With every breath I remember you. Without you, I am not worth a penny. Oh, my merciful to the poor ones, it is all your grace. I bore the taunts and criticism. Without you, who can remove the pain? Oh, my true friend, shower grace on me. Together the friends remember you. Your Nam is talked about everywhere. You are unreachable, endless, and limitless. The servant of Jeb remembers you, and with every breath sings the Nam of the Guru. You have blessed the infinite store of Nam. O Guru Kirpal, we have your support.
144.
144?
Yeah.
Page 144.
Jagat musafir borwari apre kama musafir borwari apre kama Jo jagat hai bhavat hai sovat hai sorat jo jagat hai sovat hai sovat hai sorat musafir borwari apre उठनी से अखियाँ खोल जरा उठनी से अखियाँ खोल जरा और अपने गुरु से ध्यान लगा और अपने गुरु से ध्यान लगा ये प्रीत करने की प्रीत है ये प्रीत करने की प्रीत है प्रभु जागृत है सोवत है गुरु जागृत है सोवत है मुझे मुसाफिर कोर है अब है ज्ञान उठ जाकर मुसाफिर कोर है अब है कहाँ सोवत है जो कल करना सो आज कर ले जो कल करना सो आज कर ले जो कल करना सो आज कर ले जो आज करना सो अब कर ले जब चिड़िया ने चुन के लिया फिर पछताएंगे क्या होत है जब चिड़ियों ने चुन के लिया फिर पछताएंगे क्या होत है उठ जाकर मुसाफिर बोल भाई अब है कहाँ जो सोवत है उठ जाकर मुसाफिर बोल भाई अब है कहाँ जो सोवत है नादान भुगत करनी अपनी
नादान सुगत करनी अपनी
अब पापी पाप में चैन कहाँ
अरे पापी पाप में चैन कहाँ
जब पाप की गठरी शीश धरी जब पाप की गठरी शीश धरी फिर शीश पकड़ क्यों रोवत फिर शीश पकड़ क्यों रोवत उठ जा मुसाफिर बोल भई अब है कहाँ जो सोवत उठ जा मुसाफिर बोल भई अब है कहाँ जो सोवत है। Thank you, Babaji.
Oh, traveler, get up. It is dawn. It is not right that you continue sleeping. One who awakes, he finds. One who is asleep, he loses. Get up and open your eyes from slumber and meditate on your master. This is not the way of love. The Lord is awake and you are sleeping. What you want to do tomorrow, do today. What you want to do today, do it now. When the sparrows have picked up the seeds from the field, it's too late to repent then. O fool, suffer the consequences of your actions. O sinner, how can you have peace in sin? When you have a bundle of sins on your head, why do you say that your head hurts? O traveler, get up. It is dawn. It is not right that you continue sleeping. The reading today is from Kapil Singh's Morning Talks, talk number 27, How to Develop Receptivity. Life comes from life. The radiation of a man who is enlivened with the God into expression power can be conveyed to another who is receptive. A man may be far away or he may be near. If he is not receptive, he cannot have life. Life is radiated through life and also through the eyes. Eyes are the windows of the soul. The soul, which is enlivened with the contact of God, can radiate that enlivening principle through the eyes, not through the intellect. With the intellect, we can only understand what is what. Life is conveyed through life and only to those who are receptive. Otherwise, they cannot be enlivened. So spirituality cannot be taught, but it can be caught, like an infection, by those who become receptive. A man may be living in the same house as the master for years and still might not have a spark of spirituality. A man who is living at a far-off distance and who is receptive will derive more benefit than one who is living close by but is not receptive. The life of one who is receptive will become the abode of all good qualities. That is why Kabir says it is of no use sitting physically together unless your mind is receptive to the God in man. Receptivity is developed when all foreign thoughts are driven out. You remain and he remains. You are working at the back of the eyes and the God in man is also working there. The eyes are the windows of the soul and he teaches others without any language through the eyes. What I am telling you is a very delicate point, of course. You may be living for years with the master and yet not develop life. As you think, so you become. That life becomes infused in your life if you become receptive. You will become one, no more two. That is why St. Paul says, it is I, not now I, but Christ lives in me. This very thing has been given out by almost all masters, whether they came in India or abroad. Maulana Rumi says, I am so much filled up with my master that I have forgotten what is my name. Whether he is in me or I am in him, I cannot differentiate. So this is something which comes to the fate of those who become receptive. He is all wisdom, grace, mercy, and love. These qualities can be developed in you by becoming receptive, not by word of mouth. By word of mouth, you will understand at the level of the intellect, but life cannot be radiated, infused in you, unless you become receptive. You follow my point? This is the reason why even the hundreds of people may live together in the same house as the master. They don't develop spirituality. I quoted you two instances, one from St. Paul and the other from Alana Rumi. Such a man is called a gurmukh. He becomes the mouthpiece of the guru, but not at the level of the intellect. At the level of the intellect, you may remember so many things about what the master has said and given out. That has no life. You are talking only at the level of the intellect. So life or consciousness is something else than intellectual wrangling or wrestling. You follow my point now? A very delicate point is brought out here. These things cannot be explained in writing. Writings cannot convey the words which come through the mouth charged by higher life. That is why Swamiji said, when you come to a satsang, derive the full benefit of it. How? Forget everything when you come to the satsang. Forget even the environments and who is sitting by you. Forget even your own body. You remain and he remains. Eyes speak to eyes. Eyes are the window of the soul. When you are absorbed in this way, you will become receptive and receive life. Life cannot be conveyed through paper or the intellect. The intellect can only explain what can possibly be explained in words and nothing further. Sometimes language fails to express what is what. We are conscious beings and we will become more conscious if we get the bread of life by becoming receptive. This radiation can be had while sitting quite close or even by sitting thousands of miles away. You can hear and see from thousands of miles by radio and television. If you are non-personified, the word made flesh, then why can't you radiate everywhere? You can. The man who develops receptivity receives the true bread of life, and that will give more life. Life is there already within you, but you have not known your own self because you are environed by mind, matter, and the outgoing faculties. You are so much identified with the body and outward things that you cannot disentangle yourself from them and know who you truly are. If you come into contact with your higher self, the higher conscious man, you will develop more. Guru Nanak said, only he is alive, O Nanak, whose soul has become united with, who is the mouthpiece of the God into expression power, called word or nam. If you become receptive to him, who is word made flesh, naturally you will have more life. As I told you, spirituality cannot be taught but caught by becoming more receptive. You can only become receptive through love. The man who has love, even while sitting with thousands of people, he still remains all alone because his whole attention is riveted on the master with whom he is concerned. This is the way how you can develop receptivity. By becoming receptive, you will have more life. By intellectual talk, you will only understand what is meant by bread of life and nothing more. There is a Sanskrit word called upasana. Upasana means to sit by a master. Nothing stands between you and the master. He is fully conscious and you too are a conscious being. Conscious beings should have nothing between them except maybe the physical body, the outgoing faculties, or the intellect. We should rise above these things and come into contact with the higher self. This teaching is given by those who are alive. Those who are not in contact with the higher self cannot get life. When you get life, you will become the abode of all virtues. By self-introspection, you will weed out all imperfections. You try to have those higher virtues, but even then, you fail here and there. If you get life within you, and if in addition you have self-introspection and weed out the imperfections from day to day, you will become more in contact. If you become receptive to a God-man, you need no diary, nothing whatsoever. You will get life direct, and when you get life, all other things will leave you. When you sit by a fire, naturally, all cold will go. You follow me now, exactly what I mean to say? So this is what I got from the physical presence of the Master. Those who come to the Master and do not develop receptivity consider that they will have more from their own efforts. Of course, a little boost will help them, but you can learn more in this way than any other way. When you sit for meditation, what do? You have to make some effort, but it should be an effortless effort in which there is no question of doer. You should repose all hopes in the one in front of you or to the power which is also working within you. Books give references, but they don't give what is now explained to you. Kabir says if you are sitting physically near somebody, but your mind is just going around all over the world, that is no apasma. You cannot derive the full benefit from the presence of the Master. So the Master is not the physical body. He has a physical body to work through, but he is Word made flesh. The Master gives you a conscious contact with the God into expression power, which is the light and sound principle. The more you come in contact with the light and sound principle within the man body, where it is manifest, the more life you will have. So life comes from life, and you get it when you become receptive. At the time of initiation, you are given a contact with the God into expression power. If you practice it from day to day, you can develop it. At the same time, you should have self-introspection and weed out all imperfections. The more you come in contact with it, the more love, wisdom, and life you will have. By talking and attending discourses, you begin to understand something, but you don't get it. To understand is one thing. To have that being, that life, is quite another. As I told you the other day, Satsang is a school in which you have come not only to learn, but to have spirituality. First, you understand what is what. Then, through receptivity, you have that life within you. This is a vast subject. As you go in, you understand more and more and more. From thousands of miles, you are quite close to him if you are receptive. That is why Kabir says, the Master may be living across the 7 oceans, and the disciple is on the other side. If the disciple just directs his attention to the Master, he will have the same benefit as though he were close to him. For instance, when I get applications for initiation, I write back and say, all right, give him a sitting. It is the word power that communicates it. Never be deceived that the person who conveys the instructions is the giver. He is only the receptacle through whom the instructions are given. You can have initiation even from thousands of miles without going through anybody if you become receptive. But generally people do not understand. That is why some people are authorized to convey the initiation instructions. The initiation is actually done the very moment that it is authorized. That comes from the word within you or from the human pole where the word is fully manifested. You understand now what you learned from Satsang, what you have from Satsang. First is learning through theory at the intellectual level, and then having that bread of life. That will give strength to your soul. On spiritual health depends the life of mind and body both. All imperfections will leave you, just as when you sit by a fire, all cold leaves you. By hearing the sound current, you become the abode of all virtues. By hearing, you can determine the direction in which you have to go. By hearing, your inner eye is opened to see where you are going. Pity it is that we give little time to these things and only waste away our time in trifling things, I would say. So when you have understood a thing, then follow it. So long as you have not understood, Satsang will help you. When you have got something, then live up to it and have only the company of somebody who has got that life within him. That will give you a boost. These things are to be understood and then lived. By speaking about bread, your hunger cannot be appeased, but you must have bread to eat. That is why Christ said, I am the bread of life. This bread of life has come down from heaven. Whoever partaketh of it shall have everlasting life. Partaketh of it. He is the bread of life, of course. He also says, eat me and drink me. What to eat? He is word made flesh. The more you come in contact with and devour that word, the light and sound within you, the more you will be eating of the bread of life. So the DVD we'll watch today is a Master Kripal called Eyes of Light. It's from the Nora Lee collection. And then there's a second short video after that of Master Kripal's visit to Hamilton in 1963. Let me try something here. There we go.
Okay.
Day before yesterday, we considered about the true values of life and came to the conclusion that true value lies in knowing oneself and knowing over God. Man is thrice blessed. He has got physical body, intellect and soul. So he should develop in all three ways so that he may reap the full benefit of a man's life. So, considering all other matters, we ultimately came to this decision that a man who has not developed spiritually, however he may have developed physically or intellectually, he is nowhere. For the reason that we have to leave the body someday. This is only a temporary abode which we have to make the best use of it. Man is the highest of all creation, and it is in that only that we can meet God. Know ourselves, know ourselves. If we have not done that work, we have, truly speaking, lost our most precious life, which was bestowed toward us as a man. We also came to the conclusion that time does come when something leaves this body. That something is that we are. That is called soul. That is conscious entity, but under the control of mind, it is so much united that it cannot differentiate itself from the mind. And mind is further swayed by the outgoing faculties. We have identified ourselves with the body and its environments, so much so that we cannot now differentiate who we are, what we are. And what led to this conclusion, you see, that was the subject which I dealt with yesterday. How we forgot ourselves. So that was explained that the outgoing faculties, we have been working through them from morn till night. We have been receiving impressions from outside, from majority, from three of the outgoing faculties, sight, audition and taste. That all the time, when we go to sleep, close our eyes, we think of the same impressions we receive through them. When we go to sleep, in dreams even that those very impressions are reproduced as it were we are living a only superficial life. So our inner eyes were shut. So to say, we have become blind in the terminology of the masters, because God is within us, but the inner eye is not open with which we can see that light. God's voice is in every heart, but our inner ears are closed. That is why we have, as it were, become deaf to hear that voice. Similarly, we are given up to the taste of the things outside so much so that the real bliss, the sweet elixir of the divine link existing in each man, that we are not able to taste now. Ultimately, we came to the conclusion that we are, as it were, sleeping in a house of body, and the passions are just assailing us. When a man is asleep in a body, you see, in a house, anybody can come take away anything he likes. So we do not know when we are just assailed by the passions. How to overcome that, that was ultimately, we arrived at the conclusion that somebody who is competent to raise us above the outgoing faculties, only then we can be saved the attacks of passions through the various outgoing faculties which we are now having. So if we could sit at the feet of somebody who can transcend the body himself and give us an experience how to transcend these outgoing faculties, at his feet we will come to know what is what, why our inner eyes can be opened, you see. Divinity already exists in man, that is only an expression thereof that we learn at the feet of some master. So, the subject is today's subject is, you see, our souls. With all consciousness, and we are in top of the ocean of life of consciousness. But our mind is controlled, complete control of mind. The mind is always made by the outlook faculties. But the mind, coming from the other things, we cannot go inside or transcend the body, ingress into the kingdom of God. And we can control mind and the divine link, the connection power, you might say, which is supporting each one of us and has also all the creations. How can we connect with them? That would be the subject of today's talk. Yesterday I quoted the day before two first of the East, one Korea, and the other from 51 districts, and give us quotations from Bible just to show that they are teaching them on this planet. Today we are taking up just the theme from Guru Ramadas, another master who came in the East. Let us see what he has to say on this subject. Everybody is doing something at least, you see. Those who are interested in the subject, in the state of life, and enter their hearts, they cannot remain on their own. Everybody is striving to do something, but to find one difficult. They are just trying, putting time to read the Holy Scriptures. Of saints who gain the power. They are just putting time to attend the holy places of worship. Saying what prayers are there, but the mind wants to say, it is what difficulty why do so, and that is while they are praying, while they are reading the Holy Scriptures, while they are attending other rituals, mind is wandering away. Their body is there, their mouths are repeating the same thing, but at the same time mind is wandering away. For a minute it stays and then wanders away. That is a practical difficulty. Those doing something on the way, they find that difficulty before them. So, Guru Ramadas, I don't know, that he was in search of this truth. He went over down to town in India and visited many places of pilgrimages and the holy ages on the banks of it. There are many rishis lived in the forest. Even the concept of the some till now. Up to the age of 70 years, he was just going over there to find out somebody, so that he be put on the way. But on the way, once when you are going, another man was asked on the way, you see, some clue. He wanted water for drinking, and whoever was asked just grab the water from drinking. He put in the question, who is your master? And you ever sit at the feet of some master? So bad he said, no, so far I have not found any master at whose feet I could sit. And find the way up. He said, oh my God, I have taken water from the man who has not given the way Satsang master, and the most unfortunate, he cursed himself. That struck Guru Ramadas very badly. But it is so bad not to have a master's life. But it is truly speaking, to have a given master is a great blessing, I believe. So he was almost shocked at this statement made right at the close. Again, many opportunities with us. We do not exactly follow or make the best use of them. The daughter of the second Guru of the sixth, Guru Angad by name, she was married to this grandson of Guru Ramadas. She was there. She had a Guru, she had a master. She knew the way up. That day when he heard her reciting the scriptures, he went to her and asked him, well, whose scripture it is. He referred that my father is now carrying on this mission of Guru Nanak, so you can go to him. So he asked her to just accompany her to her father and went over there. The second Guru, you see, when he heard that my daughter's father-in-law has come, so he naturally came out according to the custom. He wanted to meet him, embrace him, but Guru Ramadas said, look here, I have not come now as in that relation, you see, in that way of relation, but I have come as a slave at your feet. So he did what he said, and ultimately he had that realization of himself and overself. Then only he gave out these hymns after that, when he reached that point, you see, of realization. He says, we are doing something. Some are saying prayers, some are offering water to the sun, some are this way, that way. So many in all social religions, there are different rituals, different formalisms. Some are just visiting the holy places of worship, this and that thing. With all that, they find that very difficulty confronting them, that mind is not still. In outward thing, you see, mind can be engaged and maybe stayed for a short time, but again it wanders away. I remember the time of my master Saman Singh Maharaj, one Pandit came to him, and when he listened to the talks given by the master, he was convinced and wanted initiation. When he was initiated, he had some experience within. He told him, well, look here, what have you said? I will complete that course within 2 or 3 months and come back again. The master laughed a bit and said, all right, what else is wanted? Do it. He went away. Fortunately, at the time when this talk took place, I was there, present. Okay. But he did not turn up within 2 or 3 months. He turned up, say, after 6 or 8 months. When he again came and met the master, I was also there. What did he say? Look here, master. Previous to you, coming to you, I was just devoting 6 to 8 hours in the just performing the rituals and prayers and reading scriptures, etc. 6 to 8 hours, and mind would not disturb me. But now mind is not still even for 5 minutes. You follow why? In outward engagement, mind does get some interest. We because he's got something to see, to be engaged. But when you leave this outward things, mind cannot be still inside. I tell you, like a child, if you shut him up in a dark room, what will he do? He simply knock the door, break the doors, cry. But if you have something inside to stay on, and that becomes a very interesting thing to him, then he keeps quiet. The point is, unless you get something inside, outer performance of the outer rituals and formalism, you see it's easier, because for some time at least that will be controlled for a while, but again that will wander away. So Guru Amadas says, well, look here, our mind is just wandering away to all sides. How a man with such a mind, you see, how can he really sing the praises of the Lord? Now he again says, where it goes, you see. What are the sources through which this mind goes out to the outward things? He says it is through the outgoing faculties. Those outgoing faculties are taking possession of the mind, so much so it has become attached that it cannot leave it, you see. One day it does something, 2 days, 4 days it becomes recurrence, brings in habit, and the habit when strengthened, it turns into a nature of man. So once you are just got a habit of something, to unravel there, that becomes a bit difficult. Because from the very birth, you see, our mind has been attached to the outside things, to the outgoing faculties, you see. All the time dreaming, talking, thinking, seeing, hearing, the outside things, so it has been attached to the outward life. How to still it? What's the result? So at times we fall a prey to lust and to anger. You see? Now the outgoing faculty, just consider for a minute, moth. You see? It comes to the light, burning light, and it singes itself, you see, consumes itself in the fire. One outgoing faculty of sight is controlling the moth. The result is death. Deer are antelope in the jungles. They are very fast running animals, you see. Even the fastest horse cannot overtake it. But how the people catch him, you see. Just the drum beat. They just beat the drums outside, and that voice is so much so taken away that he comes near it and lays his head on the drum. And the people who are after it catches him, and the whole life long he is under custody, control, enslaved for whole life. You will see now elephant, how strong an animal it is, how they are caught. It is very difficult to catch one elephant from the jungle. They what they do, they just have some very deep ditches dug into the ground, and over that they lay some branches of trees, very thin, and some grass over it, so that it may not be known that there is earth beneath, is a ditch beneath. So just make or put on there a just pattern of female elephant. Elephant comes being given up to the outgoing faculty of touch. He just gallops and just down in the ditch. For some days, elephant is kept hungry, and after they enter you say that iron rod it is kept all through life enslaved. Similarly, take the case of a fish that is under the control of the outgoing faculty of the taste. Free it is in the river or say ocean. How the fishermen catch it? By throwing the net into the river and just putting some things on that, they put in something to eat. So they come and just put in the mouth, and that very hook is just stuck in the neck, and when the fisherman takes away the net along with that, the fisher comes out and dies. So you will see, we are given one example of each. Whichever of this creation is subject to the slavery of one outgoing faculty, the result is either death or lifelong slavery. What to speak of a man who is under the control of the five outgoing faculties at a time? When our soul, under the control of the mind, it is driven away or attached to the outside things, you see, not by one outgoing faculty but five altogether, where is the room left for the soul to get contact with the divine link which already exists in man? The result is they fall in lust or anger. Now in lust you will find the seat of the soul in the body is back the eyes. You must have just seen some man dying. The lower portion is dead, and the soul is withdrawn, comes back the eyes, and eyes are upturned like that. He is alive. Lower portion is benumbed and dead, but he is still alive. It shows that the seat of the soul in the body is at back the eyes. You see? And then ultimately it leaves the body. So, the soul which is just directed to lust has a downward tendency, but he has to leave, to go up. How can that soul go which is just given up to the lust? For that purpose, you see, chastity is life and sexuality is death. We have to be pure in thought, word and deed. Of course, those who have entered the householder's life, they have to live according to the sacraments of their religion, you see. For that purpose, that is also, you see, householder life is not a machinery of enjoyment, excuse me. It is a very blessed, I think, place where man has to live, just have a companion in life, go to just companion life in this earthly life and go ahead, go together. And of course one duty is there of begetting children, that's all right, but it is not the be all and end all. We have considered wrongly, we think perhaps this household life is only a machinery of enjoyment, whereas that is not so. To observe celibacy or restrict yourself this very valuable life, jewel you might say, you have to maintain it. If the one is addicted to downward tendency, naturally the soul cannot leave the body. Similarly, through anger, the mind expands. Such and such man is like, always thinking evil of others. Either mind is going down or expanding. Such a man, how can he concentrate? And Master says at one place, the man whose body has not been just besmeared or defiled with the thoughts of anger and lust, he is an image of God. You see him, your thoughts will be changed in that atmosphere, when you will sit, you will have a charging of something higher values of life. So he says, how our minds betraying us into the enjoyments of the outward life, we have to make the best use of it. Mind is a good servant, mind is like fire, but it is a bad master. If fire is in your control, that will cook up your things, that will carry on your machinery, you see, and other things. But if once the fire takes hold of you, you are nowhere, you are consumed. Similarly, if you have mind under your control, that works wonders, you can work wonders. And if mind controls you, then you are the all man of the world, that's all. The mind has to be controlled, that's the main difficulty which lies in the way up to God, you see. In the ocean of mind, innumerable waves coming on, or various passions, you see. They affect us, they drown us, unless with the proper guidance and help of some master that can only lead us across. So what does he do? He just transcends you from the plane where the outgoing faculties work. Very first day, the ABC of teaching starts just when you are up the outgoing faculties. All these impressions from outside are the apertures through which these passions assail on you, attack on you, are the outgoing faculties, eyes, ears, nose, mouth, etc. So first his lesson starts just makes you sit, gives you an experience how to transcend the body, just open your inner eye to contact with the divine link with it. Only then mind can be controlled. And you see, the mind is one. You can engage it into one thing at a time, not 2, 3, 4. You may engage it in the enjoyment of the sensuous life, or direct it to the enjoyment of the higher blissfulness. If your mind is just attached to something higher, naturally outer things will become less attractive. So if there's any impediment, I may say, in our way back to God is mind. One Mohammedan saint says that if you have a resolute will to see God overhead, then what is the best way up? Just put one foot on the mind, that is stop it by going astray, and the next step you will take, that you will just fall into the kingdom of God. But I will tell you, mind is really a blessing, I tell you. But its direction is only to be set right. You see, probably in Bible somewhere it is said that Habil and Kabil, the story of Habil and Kabil, lower mind and the higher mind. Lower mind of the Pindi mind, what is called in the East, until that is killed, you see, controlled, higher mind cannot lead you up. So lower sensual mind has a very vast area, you see. It is one, but it works in 3 planes. In the physical plane it is called Pindi mind. In the higher astral plane it is called Andi mind, astral mind. And still higher, the 3rd plane, it is called Brahmani mind, cosmic mind, what we say. But it is all the same mind. Mind in itself is material. It gets consciousness or strength from the soul. You will say, what's the proof of that? just think for a moment. You are absorbed in some thought. Your attention is engaged in something, absorbed somewhere. Mind does not work. Attention is the outcome of the soul. And when that is engaged somewhere, mind does not take any strength, so it cannot work. So the way suggested by masters is to just engage your very attention into something higher, and when you taste the bliss thereof, naturally outward things leave off all attraction. At present, soul and mind are combined together. We cannot differentiate. Just like hydrogen and oxygen, when they are just combined in certain ratio, HO2, two parts of oxygen, hydrogen one part, that makes water, you see. You will find hydrogen just stops your breathing, and oxygen gives you life. With diametrical opposite qualifications, when they combine, they become water, which has a quite different qualifications as compared with the other two. Similarly, soul is conscious and mind is material. Both things, when they combine, they become jiva, or what you call the subject to birth and death, subject to the outgoing, swayed by the outgoing faculties. Soul is all consciousness, you see. But when combined with matter, we forget ourselves. So we have to analyze first from the body, you see. First differentiate from the body, then that pindi mind will leave you, lower mind will be killed. Then when you transcend the second plane, the second mind will leave you. And when you transcend the three planes, all three minds will leave you. They are one mind with three phases of working, you might say. Then the soul is analyzed from mind. You know who you are really. So when the soul gets something inside, only it can be absorbed inside. Otherwise, mind is wandering out to the outward lusts, you see, of the body, of all enjoyments outside. So naturally, one mind cannot stay. The Guru Amar Das did a lot, you see, for 70 years he was after the search. Yes, he does not give us how many teachers he might have seen. And every teacher had to give him something to do. Some gave already, go on reading this scripture, others said, all right, do this form of ritual, observe this form of ritual, others said some other thing. He did all, but with all that his mind was not controlled until he came to the feet of Guru Angad, the master, and he gave him how to control the mind from within. He'll tell us how he controlled the mind later on. So this is the fate which we are now passing through, each one of us. Our mind is not in our control. Unless the mind comes under control, you cannot succeed in the way of spirituality. He says this is like all men are going with all their whatever they are doing, still their mind is having a control of them. Now he will further explain how he controlled the mind and what Master suggested to him for that purpose. There's a very precious, valuable, untold treasure of divinity pervading all creation. You see? That is in you and everywhere. If your mind just tastes the sweet elixir of that divinity which is in you, context with that much, it will stop going outside. Because that is very sweet elixir. You see. Once you taste it, all other outer enjoyment which you have through the outgoing faculties, they will leave you. Because that is more attractive, more beautiful, more delicious, like that. He said one thing is pervading throughout all creation. If how sweet, how beautiful that is, if you simply just contact with that, your mind will not wander away. You find, where is that divinity in each one of us? How we can contact? This is a subject now remains, you see. But he says, where is that divinity? How can we contact in further reply? For the present, he simply says, the remedy of the mind also lies in you. You see. Where there is something like that, nature has provided both the things. You'll find, even you see in vegetable, you'll find, for instance, take a radish. The leaves portion of it, those are giving warmth, you see, and the other front portion of it, that gives you a little alleviating, pacifying effect. Both things are together. Similarly, we have got mind inside, we have got soul inside. For the mind, there is a remedy. For soul is being driven by mind to outside things, but there is something also lying in you already, that is God in action power, I would say. The divinity pervading each one of you throughout all creation. If you just have contact with that and have the sweet elixir thereof, you see, taste that sweet elixir, mind will leave up all sensuous enjoyments of the body. And he says what it is, further he explains. He said that is called Naam, by the name of name, or Naam, that is pervading throughout all creation, sustaining, supporting all creation. And that is the most precious thing that we can have. You see, if we once contact with that, you will extract the sweet elixir thereof, and once you get a taste thereof, your mind will leave off all outer states of the physical body. That Naam is also termed by the Easterns as Shabda. There are two kinds of Naam, you see. One which can be expressed in words, written, or spoken of. And the other, that very thing which these words denote. For instance, there is water. You see? Water is called in Hindi as gyalo. In Urdu as pani. In Persian it is called ab. In Latin it is called aqua. You see? Similar in all languages. In English it is called water. But the thing is one. Names are so many. So the names outside which go to denote the thing, unless you drink that which these words denote, your thirst is not quenched. So there are so many names of God. Some say gods, others say Allah, the other says Ram, fourth one says Vaheguru. There are so many names. These names were just given by masters who came in the past. There are hundreds of names, you see. But we are just repeating those names, you see, and not contacting the particular thing those words denote. We are just uttering the names only and not the particular thing which these words convey. That is why we cannot have the true purpose for which those names stand for. For instance, we want to quench our thirst unless we just drink that thing, particular thing, which are denoted by the various words, our thirst cannot be quenched, you see. Similarly, in the scriptures you will find name of God. That is called by Mohammedan saints as Nada, Nad. Nad made the 14 words, you see. And Mohammedans call it Kalma. Kalma was the maker of 14 planes. These are words in Persian, but they convey the same sense. In the saints' scriptures, it is given as Naam or Shabda. That is the cause of creation of all the world over. That very thing is called by Zoroaster as Srosha. That's one thing, expressed by masters by various names, whoever came in the past, to let us know that power of God pervading and sustaining all creation, that is in each one of you. If you just taste a sweet elixir of that thing, your mind will not stop going away, because now mind is attached to outward thing because it considers, you see, this is the only end all. That very thing is also expressed, you see, in the Bible by Christ. It is not new thing, I tell you, the only one thing. St. John's Bible, it is said, in the beginning was Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. You see, he is defining the word. Word does not mean the words uttered by the mouth, mind that. These words uttered by the mouth of the master, that is a different thing. These words speak of that word which was in the beginning, was with God and was God. The same was in the beginning with God. So all things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was in the world. So that word may be now expressed by the power of God now. That was in the beginning with God, you see, that was with God, that was God. Nothing came into existence before the Word was born. So Word is the creative power of all things created. You see, this word further is defined, forever, O Lord, thy word is settled in heaven. Just think for a moment. Thy word is settled in heaven. And heaven is a place which is unchangeable permanence. You see? By the word of God, all heavens were made. Again further it says, Bible. So that is a power which is creating all the world over. That power is named by the word, you see. That power is named by the word Kalma. That power is named by the word Naam, Shabda, Sarosha, and so many other names. People are only understanding by the word or Shabda, it is only the words given out by the masters, the Holy Scriptures. These are also valuable, I tell you. Worth tons in gold and emeralds for a man who wants to go this way. But these words convey some other word power, which is named by the word power, word, by the name of word. That is the creative power. That comes from the heavens. That is permanent abode in heaven, you see, and that is the cause of all creation. So that power is God expressed by the word word. Similar definition has been given in the case of Naam and Shabda, the saints have given. He says the whole creation was made by Naam. He says that power which creates this world, again dissolves the world creation, and again restarts the world afresh. That power which is the cause of all things, that is called Shabda. You follow me? I am exactly only quoting you to show that only there is one thing inside each man, which all saints who came in the past, that is divinely linked, exists in each one of us. We have to contact that. That is very sweet, very ineffable sweet, I would say, very intoxicating. Once mind gets a little taste of that, it leaves off all outer taste of the world, you see. Further it says, you see, upholding all things by the word of his power. So it is a supporting thing, you see, that power. Further it says, the grass withereth and the flower fadeth, but the word of God shall stand forever. Word of God shall stand forever. So outward words do not stand forever.
During Master Kirpal's 1963 World Tour, he would travel by car from one city to the next. On October 22nd, the Master's motorcade crossed over the Canadian border on its way to Hamilton, Ontario. This is where the Master was to spend 2 nights in the home of 2 initiates. This little clip is taken as Master's car was just pulling up in front of the home. Arrangements had been made for the Master to meet with the mayor of Hamilton. They had a very cordial talk and discussed the nature of Master's visit there. Later that day, he gave a talk at the Connaught Hotel, and again the next night he gave a second talk. These talks were met with a tremendous response from the audience. Many people came to the Master afterwards with further questions about the science of the soul. There was one young schoolboy whose parents had attended one of the talks, and he later heard them discussing how there was a spiritual master visiting their city. The next day he told his school friends that his parents had been talking about a great saint from India who was in a house in their neighborhood. As a result, the house where Master was staying, in front of that house, crowds of interested and excited children gathered throughout the day. They came in batches from early morning until late in the afternoon, hoping to have a glimpse of the holy man from India. In between groups, Master Kirpal would return to the house. master went out several times during the day and spoke with the enthusiastic children. Now, prior to all this, the master had arranged for a large quantity of apples to be brought to the house. And then during his interactions with the children, he would pass out these prasad apples, making sure that each child received one. Soon, a reporter and a news photographer were on the scene, and the picture of Kripal Singh and the children appeared in the next day's newspapers, along with a lengthy report of the event. By evening, 3 baskets of apples had been given out. Towards the end of the day, as the 4th group of children gathered outside the house, someone asked the master if they could be given a meditation sitting. There were about 60 children present, and the master asked if they wanted to see the light within, and all of them enthusiastically shouted, "Yes." So at that point, the master instructed the children on the basics of meditation, and then he had them sit. He watched over the children during the sitting. At times, he would place his hand on the forehead of a child, touching the 3rd eye. During the meditation sitting, all the children, with the exception of 5 or 6 who could not sit still, all the children experienced the light of God. 7 saw the radiant form of Jesus. Some saw forms of other masters. Their inner experiences were so good, they told their parents all about them. News of the children's meditation sittings spread like wildfire. Some of the parents came to meet the master, even bringing other children. And so ended one of the most joyous and deeply profound events of the entire 1963 tour.
We can have our closing bhajan.
Page number 47.
Page 47.
Kirpal Guru Aja, Kirpal Guru Aja, Sangat Putarni, Tere Hat Vich Chapiyo Data, Sare Sansar Ni. Kirpal Guru Aja, Kirpal Guru Aja, Sangat Pukarni, Tere Hat Vich Chapiyo Data, Sare Sansar Ni. संगत पुकार दी है दोवें हाथ जोड़ के चल गयो दाता संगत तोड़ के संगत पुकार दी है दोवें हाथ जोड़ के विच चाबियो दाता सारे संसार की। कृपाल गुरु आजा, कृपाल गुरु आजा, संगत पुकार दी, तेरे हाथ विच चाबियो दाता सारे संसार की। संगत दिवालिया देर ना लगावी वे, सुन के आवाज साड़ी छेती छेती आवी वे। संगत दिवालिया देर ना लगावी वे, सुन के आवाज साड़ी छेती छेती आवी वे। दर्शनानु बैठी संगत तैयार जी, तेरे हाथ विच चाबियो दाता सारे संसार की। कृपाल गुरु आजा, कृपाल गुरु आजा, संगत पुकार दी, तेरे हाथ विच चाबियो दाता सारे संसार की। संगत दा वैद तेरे हाथ च दवाई वे, ताला किसे होर लाया तैं चाबी लाई वे। संगत दा वैद तेरे हाथ च दवाई वे, ताला किसे होर लाया तैं चाबी लाई वे। जोगे नू बचाया कान आप पहरेदार जी, तेरे हाथ विच चाबियो दाता सारे संसार की। कृपाल गुरु आजा, कृपाल गुरु आजा, संगत पुकार दी, तेरे हाथ विच चाबियो दाता सारे संसार की। नानकी पुकारिया तू चट विच आया सी, पुकार वाला फूल का प्यार नाल खाया सी। नानकी पुकारिया तू चट विच आया सी, पुकार वाला फूल का प्यार नाल खाया सी। उसे तरया जा तू मैनू ना विसार जी, तेरे हाथ विच चाबियो दाता सारे संसार की। कृपाल गुरु आजा, कृपाल गुरु आजा, संगत पुकार दी, तेरे हाथ विच चाबियो दाता सारे संसार दी। सुनदा पुकार दाता मुड़ तो तू आया वे, मक्खन लुभाने दा जहाज बन लाया મખન લુભાણીના જહાજ બનેલા સંગતનું બચાલે પુકાર જાય બતાદરી તેરે હાથ વિચ ચાબીઓ દાતા सारे संसार दी कृपाल गुरु आजा कृपाल गुरु आजा संगत पुकार दी तेरे हाथ विच चाबियो दाता सारे संसार दी.
Come, O Guru Kripal, the Sangat is calling you. In your hands is the key to the whole world. Folding their hands, the Sangat is calling you. Where did you go, O giver, leaving the Sangat? This is my prayer, that you may always show yourself to us. O protector of the Sangat, don't delay. Hearing our voice, come soon. All the Sangat is sitting, waiting to have your darshan. O doctor of the Sangat, the medicine is in your hands. Somebody else locked the door and you applied the key. You saved yoga by becoming the guard. When Nanaki called, you came at once. Lovingly you ate the chapati of request. In that way, you come and don't forget me. From the very beginning, you have been hearing the requests. You made the ship of Makan the trader come to the shore. Save the Sangat. This is the request of Ajay of the Sadhu. Come, O Guru Kripal, the Sangat is calling you. In your hands is the key to the whole world. May God bless us all.